you like Roman Reigns' title run or not, the Bloodline and the Bloodline saga has been one of the biggest storylines in WWE history. But that does not excuse Roman Reigns to miss most of the pay-per-views that WWE puts on all year. He may be missing Survivor Series in Chicago. We'll talk about it right here on OTS. Also, CM Punk finally addresses the WWE rumor that he will be showing up in Chicago at Survivor Series and makes light of all the speculation. Also, Randy Orton, when is he slated to return? Another update on Randy Orton's return to WWE. All this plus so much more right here on today's OTS. We will start with CM Punk. CM Punk addresses WWE Survivor Series rumors heading into one of the biggest shows that WWE will do all year. Obviously, Rosemont, Illinois, Survivor Series, Chicago, Punk. We all know the Punk story. Punk was actually interviewed by Dan Bernstein and Lawrence Holmes on 670 The Score in Chicago. Punk was asked point blank if he'd be at Survivor Series in the All-State Arena. Now, I appreciate when radio hosts or podcast hosts just get right to the point, man. Listen, I'm going to ask you a question. It may be fucking stupid of me to ask this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because it's on everybody's mind, even though they know they're not going to get a legitimate answer, and more than likely, the question will be scoffed or laughed at. He says, and I quote, "Well, I think it's sold out. I think tickets are hard to get." And he says, "I have an injury in the family. My dog Larry blew his dog ACL. I'm literally just spending my time with him. I know that sounds crazy, but he is my son, and I take care of him and treat him as such." This would obviously be a joke on the question, and dogs don't have ACLs. Larry may be hurt. I don't know. Larry may be ill. We don't really know. He may be embellishing Larry's condition right now. But listen, Jesse, if Larry is injured, man, we got to get him a gift. We got to get him a get well card and a gift, man. We can't leave Larry to struggle at home, bro. Seriously, we got to take care of our boy Larry, man. The handsome little man, Larry. In all seriousness, Punk is never going to answer that question, and Punk is never going to reveal whether he's going to be there or not. The rumor and speculation is that potentially he could show up. Potentially he will be back with WWE. There is nowhere else for him to go. There is no other company that will be able to afford CM Punk over a full-time, long-term basis. But the question being asked in this manner will never yield the answer that people are looking for. It's never going to happen. But do I think Punk will be back in WWE? At some point, I do. I do. And again, the discussion is, well, if he goes back, he'll be a hypocrite. Sure, that's something he's going to have to live with. Do I care what Punk thinks of when he lays his head down next to his wife in bed? No, I don't really give a shit. The only thing I give a shit about is good television, what he brings to WWE, how important it is. We all know that it's going to be great. And if he can keep his behavior under control, it's going to be a memorable run if he wants it to happen, if they will have him. Plus, I think when Punk is back in the spotlight and on TV, I think everybody in the community, what we do, podcasters, content creator, we eat pretty well. So I'm looking forward to it. But he did address the Survivor Series rumors in Chicago this week on 670 The Score in Chicago. Randy Orton. Randy Orton and the time frame for Randy Orton's return is still on track. They are tracking Survivor Series as the destination for his return. It's been reported that WWE is looking to bring him back by Survivor Series on Saturday, November 25th from Chicago at the United Center. WWE has approved new Randy Orton merchandise and branding ahead of his return. Dave Meltzer reported that plans for Orton to return within the next month are still on track. Meltzer wrote, and I quote, "When asked about Orton returning at Survivor Series, we were told that this is the suggested time frame, so likely about a month or so. His doctor did suggest he retire due to back issues, but Orton makes a ton of money and really wants to go until he's 50 if at all possible. I'm honestly looking at the War Games situation for Randy Orton's return. Now, I know he just got back from a terrible back injury, and I know throwing him into a War Games element may kind of counteract, well, he's been out all this time, and that's not really the type of match you want to bring somebody back for a first time after a year and a half, because it's a dangerous match, and anything can happen in 2 rings, a steel cage. There's a lot that could go wrong there. But the thing is, he doesn't fit into anything else. The people that put him out of commission are the Bloodline. The Bloodline will be in War Games. Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton have a very rich history. And I do think that Cody Rhodes will enlist Randy Orton on the babyface side of things for War Games. We did talk about this on TNT last night, myself and Andrew Baydala. We did dive into Randy Orton just a little bit. We did talk about War Games and the rumors of War Games. Will Reigns be there? Which I'll get into in a second. What the match will be, what the plans are, constantly changing plans. Randy Orton fits into that, and we laid out the situation of Bloodline and Judgment Day on one side and Cody's band of babyfaces on the other. We're looking at Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, Finn Balor, and Damian Priest against Cody Rhodes, LA Knight, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and a potential Randy Orton fitting into that on the babyface side of things. So with Cody, LA Knight, Sami, and KO, they're clearly going to need a fifth. It could be John Cena, depending on what they do, because John Cena is feuding with the Bloodline. But Randy Orton fits into that perfectly for the War Games situation. Now, they could add somebody else and really make it intriguing and have somebody on the babyface side of things get taken out beforehand, and then they're down one man, and then Cody calls up his best friend, Randy Orton, or one of his best friends, Randy Orton. Hey, I need a favor. I got somebody that's going to really love coming back for this situation, and then it ends up being Randy Orton. At the end of the day, War Games is going to be the solid choice there for him to come back, and that's going to be the best booking decision for Randy Orton. So I'm very much looking forward to him. I think it's going to be a great return. I think his presence on Monday night was sorely missed, and I'm looking forward to what he brings to the table, man. I can't wait to see what happens there with Randy Orton potentially coming back at the Survivor Series. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns supposedly will miss the Survivor Series. Now, I saw this on Twitter, and this is coming from Dave Meltzer, so please take this with a grain of salt. Do I believe Roman Reigns will miss the Survivor Series? I don't think so. I just can't physically see WWE selling 16,000 to 17,000 tickets for Survivor Series, and they don't have their biggest star in the company working what I think is one of their big 4, big 5 pay-per-views. And yes, Survivor Series has struggled as of late before the War Games stipulation was brought back by Triple H to the main roster. But now with the inclusion of War Games, it makes Survivor Series back. It puts Survivor Series back in the discussion of being one of the big 4, big 5 pay-per-views. Seriously. Roman Reigns, he hasn't wrestled since SummerSlam. He will be wrestling at Crown Jewel. He will be defending the title against LA Knight. They got a contract signing tonight on SmackDown to make that match official. Reigns signed a new deal in 2022. Little backstory. It called for him to work a reduced schedule with rare house shows and selective appearances on television and fewer matches at premium live events. Now, tonight, he will be on TV. LA Knight, Reigns, contract signing. Match will be taking place next Saturday at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. WWE returns to pay-per-view, PLE, on November 25th from Chicago with the Survivor Series. I just predicted and told you that Roman Reigns should realistically be a part of the Bloodline for War Games. Rhea Ripley's conducting business. There's a Judgment Day and Bloodline partnership. Roman Reigns obviously makes all those decisions. Why wouldn't he want to be a part of that? Who's making the decisions for the Bloodline? It's got to be Roman Reigns. He's the tribal chief. Paul Heyman's not making these decisions on his own. So if anything has to happen, Roman Reigns has to approve it, and it goes through Roman Reigns. He's going to want to be a part of it because he's the one who said, all right, let's get this partnership underway. Now, you could do War Games without Roman, But what type of impact would that be? Do they do Roman Reigns and somebody else at Survivor Series and don't include him in War Games? Are they really going to ride that? Let's keep Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes away from each other until WrestleMania. I mean, I like that on one hand, but I do think that it would add an element of like, oh yeah, I can't wait to see these guys get in the ring if they are in the ring at War Games for Survivor Series. I just think, keeping them apart from in-ring action until WrestleMania is a little unrealistic. You could do it, but I do think that if you do it and we do get it in a very small dose, it's going to make the match at WrestleMania and the anticipation for the match at WrestleMania a little bit more exciting. That's just the way that I see it. Now, in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer, Meltzer reported that Reigns won't be working the show. Meltzer wrote, Reigns is not scheduled for Survivor Series, which is notable because it's considered a Big Four event. He defends the title at Crown Jewel, and his next scheduled pay-per-view match won't be until the Royal Rumble, says Meltzer. Now, again, I don't believe it. Reigns, though not on the advertisements, not on the posters, not on the graphics, I do think that he will be at the Survivor Series. I mean, if he's not at the Survivor Series and doesn't defend a title, I'm not going to be surprised if he doesn't defend the title. I'm just talking about appearances. If he doesn't show up at the Survivor Series, I genuinely feel most of the fan base is going to really start adding on top of their frustrations already with Roman Reigns and the narrative of, well, they just should have taken the title off of him at WrestleMania. And now the narrative is going to be, well, I honestly don't think WWE should keep the title on Roman Reigns any longer. And the option of potentially dropping the title from Roman Reigns before WrestleMania is going to start to pick up steam as a conversation in the community. Who that is, who that will be against, I don't know. But Roman Reigns not being at Survivor Series, that is pathetic, number one. And that is a major, major, major L for Roman Reigns and WWE. Now, I don't know what their reasoning is. They could have any fucking reason that they want. They could do whatever they want. It's WWE. Does WWE really want to protect Roman Reigns going into WrestleMania because that's the biggest investment they got right now and they want to ensure him and Cody gets to WrestleMania without any problems? Does WWE want Roman Reigns? He's going to break the record anyway because by the time he gets to WrestleMania, it will be that record. Does WWE want to ensure he breaks Hulk Hogan's reign for the longest reigning champion of all time, which would place him, I believe, number 3 in the entirety of WWE history? Only Bob Backlund and Bruno Sammartino would be ahead of Roman Reigns. Hulk Hogan right now is at the top of that list in the top 3. I don't know. I don't know what their reasoning is. Do they have an opponent lined up for Roman Reigns at the Royal Rumble and they're waiting for that to play out? I know he's not defending the title at Survivor Series because you're not going to have him defend against LA Knight and then go into the Survivor Series and defend the title against a random nobody with no build and no story. But him being in War Games should absolutely be a priority. He was in War Games last year. Why wouldn't he be in War Games this year, especially if this year's War Games is probably going to be more important than last year's War Games because it's building Cody Roman 2. And they have a partnership with the Judgment Day that really needs to be played out and paid forward. I don't really understand it. So on one hand, with Meltzer's report, I don't believe it because I can't see it being a Big Four pay-per-view and Roman, their biggest star, their champion, not being there. It doesn't make sense to me. And Roman Reigns, if he does defend the championship at the Royal, which the report says he will, when he defends the championship at the Royal Rumble, who will it be against? Randy Orton's got, if he's coming back, Randy Orton's got every reason under the sun to want a championship match and get back at Roman because the Bloodline put him out for the year and a half he's been out. They wrote him off TV with the Bloodline and Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's not there anymore. AJ Styles. I know Luke Gallows went to go get selective knee surgery. Are they waiting for that to take place? I thought AJ Styles would be the match at Crown Jewel. They're going with LA Knight. They may have pushed the match with AJ Styles back to the Royal Rumble, and they want all that to kind of come together. They want Gallows back on TV. They want Anderson back on TV. They want Styles back on TV. We get the OC versus the Bloodline going into the Royal Rumble. Just those words coming out of my mouth, that doesn't really elicit excitement, but a Styles and Reigns match or a Styles and Reigns feud kind of does pique my interest, even though it would be predictable. Do they put Randy Orton in that spot, guaranteeing that Randy Orton's not going to take the title from Roman Reigns? Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe Roman drops the title before WrestleMania. Maybe we get Rock and Roman at WrestleMania. I don't know. I don't know which way they're going to go. I don't know where they're going to go creatively. But the point of the matter is here, Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. I don't really believe that with a Big Four show, a show of this magnitude, and a show with this much hype around it, that Roman Reigns is not going to be there. Why would he not be there? Why would WWE not book him and advertise him for that major show? I don't believe the report from Meltzer. But if it is true, it is pathetic and a major, major L for WWE. And we should really start having the discussions of what they are doing. You know, I understand that Reigns, the less he defends the title or the way that they're handling it, some people think it brings more prestige to the Universal Heavyweight Championship. Lesnar did it, and they're going back on an old school mentality that he doesn't need to defend the championship all that often. There's ways to do that by minimizing his title defenses. But the fact of the matter is he's not on fucking TV. He's not on TV. He should be on TV. The Bloodline is still a major part of story on WWE TV. Why isn't he there? When he's not there, the show suffers. When he's not there, it's not as important. The Bloodline doesn't feel as important. Everything regarding the Bloodline and revolving around the Bloodline doesn't feel that important. He needs to be there. I get it if you don't want to throw this one and that one and this one and that one at him because he's not losing the championship. But the fact he's not on TV hurts the show. You're running out of people for Roman to run through. I get it. But that's not the way the fans think about it. They're going to look at his reign at the end of this run, and the first thing that's going to pop in their head and the first thing that they're going to see is not the work that he did, not the defenses that he's made, who he's defended the title against. You want to know what the one thing that fans are going to look at when his reign is over? How many times he didn't show up on TV? How many times he didn't defend the title? And the amount of time that he took off, months and months and months at a time, where was he? It's easy to get the record that WWE wants him to do when he's not fucking there defending the title and not making TV appearances. That's the one thing that people are going to look at. It's bad. It's a bad look. It's a bad look. MJF, he doesn't defend the title all the time. He defends it when necessary. But you want to know what the difference between MJF and Roman Reigns is? MJF's on TV every fucking week. MJF was a champion like Roman Reigns, making sporadic appearances, not showing up on weekly television, defending the title once every month and a half, 2 months, only at the pay-per-views. Now, he's on TV every week. What's the excuse? What's the excuse? It's a bad look, and that's the one thing fans are going to look at. Guys, let me know what you think down below. I would love to know what you think of Roman Reigns' title run. Do you believe this report from Meltzer? Or do you think Roman Reigns will be at the Survivor Series? Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out all the other videos on the channel. If you missed it, there is plenty of content, including last night's episode 19 of TNT with myself and Andrew Baydala. Really great discussion on that one. And make sure you guys go follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Tonight, guys, I'll be live right after SmackDown, right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.